The puck dropping on the hockey season this week. The NHL coming off a down year for playoff viewership. Analysts point to some unique circumstances, though, like large market U.S. teams missing the postseason and more Canadian teams making it. But franchise valuations are growing, as is league revenue, and a new collective bargaining agreement was signed this past summer. So what's driving the momentum? Can it keep going? Joining us now, right here on set, is Gary Bettman, Commissioner of the National Hockey League. It's so great to have you here. Welcome.
Great to be with you. Thank you.
So I've got to start with NHL valuations, and maybe I'm starting at the end in the beginning here, but CNBC is working on their valuations currently, and I do wonder what you think we can expect in terms of growth this year.
Well, we've had continuous growth in the value of the franchises. I think you're seeing that in a lot of the major sports, in part because of the value of content. In our particular case, we've, I think, gone up about 100% in the last 3 years. And one of your competitors just came out with a valuation, and I think it was low. I think we typically tend to get undervalued in part because we don't get enough credit for our economic system, which really controls the cost side of things coupled with revenue sharing. Overall, our game has never been in better shape, which is where things start in terms of its competitive balance and its entertainment values. And so when you look at us, you say, if you want live content, live programming, there's nothing better than sports, and we believe there's nothing better than NHL hockey.
So you just said you don't think you get enough credit for the economic system. Let's dig a little deeper into that now. What do you think is missing in terms of the context and the nuance?
It's really in terms of the multiples that they use in revenues, and most of the valuations tend to look at gross revenues as opposed to net revenues, taking into account costs. And that's where I think we tend to be in a very good position because we have a triple level hard cap, and we couple it with revenue sharing, which gives us incredible competitive balance.
Gary, it's John Fort joining from out here in San Francisco. My understanding is, correct me if I'm wrong, that about a year ago, a rule change allowed Canadian Hockey League players to sign with NCAA teams. And I wonder, is that along the line going to help the NHL's talent pipeline and competition with the CHL?
Well, the NCAA is the one who changed the rule, making players who played in the Canadian Hockey League eligible when they previously hadn't. There seemed to be this notion that if you played in the CHL as a teenager, somehow that made you a professional. At the end of the day, the best players in the world, whether they come from Canada, the United States, or Europe, come to play in the NHL. It's really just going to be probably a change in how the journey ultimately unfolds to make your way to the NHL. And I think it's a good thing because I was never a fan of 15 and 16-year-olds deciding whether or not they were going to go to college or play in the CHL in Canada. So at the end of the day, I think it'll enable hockey players, young hockey players, to develop better and to ultimately get to the NHL if they can really have the skill to do it.